Today, we're taking a look at the Fantastic Four of One.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Matt and Stu Review, where we take a look at your favorite toys from yesterday and today. Stuart, what do we have on the table?
Today, we're going to take a look at the last member of the Fantastic Four that we need to take a look at. We're going to finish it out with a look at a number of Sue Storm figures. This figure here is actually a figure of the Invisible Woman that I did purchase. She does have a modification. I actually swapped her head with an additional head that we had from the Black Queen version of Emma.
Okay.
So she has a White Queen, Black Queen head that I think gives her like a more of like a 90s look. If you look at the head that she came with, you can give me your opinion on that one.
I'm going to bury the lead here. All the heads, with the exception of the Emma Frost one, not good. Not good.
Yeah, she looks constipated or uncomfortable or
There's a, just commending them for the way that the eyelids are working, because it, feels like it's an eye actually inset into the head, but, oof, it's not good.
yeah, I do think it may be the paint. I think you could maybe repaint this head and get it to look better, but I don't know. It's not worth the
Right.
time for me.
Especially not with the head that you've put on there, that's actually so much better, and for some reason, I feel like that sort of cut is something that I remember from Sue in the comics.
From the comics, huh? I remember it, I feel like from the cartoon or like
Okay.
in the 90s in general, she had like this was a very 90s look.
Yeah,
Uh,
so maybe that's why we have nostalgia for it, right?
yeah.
So
And I bought this character because again, she's in the classic blue and white that I prefer for the Fantastic Four. So she matches the other characters that I have in the set.
yeah, it's kinda hard to argue with that, and I think on Sue is probably the character that it looks the best on for whatever reason. There's the white glove look with the longer gloves just really works as a character design element.
It's such a clean costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. As far as this figure goes, she's pretty long in the tooth when it comes to Marvel Legends. Like the new female bodies that Marvel Legends is putting out, like Jean Grey up here, are beautiful. They're really nice. They're like a little more filled out as far as like the musculature and stuff. Like Sue to me looks really spindly and really skinny. She's got pinned joints. She doesn't even have double elbows. She has like an old single elbow technology.
Yeah, I was d disappointed in all of these figures in terms of the actual, yeah, the body frame. She's so thin. That, to me, is not the character of Sue, it's a really weird choice.
Makes her look like a teenager or something. Thought them as like the real adults of the Marvel.
Right,
Right.
30s, 40s, these characters are not kids.
Yeah. Like
They're
Johnny's a kid.
right.
This is his older sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do like her effect, barring actually making the figure itself translucent, it is a pretty good demonstration of her powers as far as, making those bubbles and force fields.
It looks really cool. It's a little weird to get on, and it definitely seemed to only work with that hand.
It does.
Um, yeah, that's something also, like the posability you talked about, where the joints were. Not having a joint in the wrist or, at the glove line makes it kinda hard to get the hands, with that sort of, pushing pose. It felt really strange to do. But you said this is an older style figure at this point.
So, this is the one Sue Storm that I had first purchased just to complete my Fantastic Four. But let's go ahead and take a look at another Sue here. This is actually the second Sue that I purchased. I think for a while I was planning to actually purchase the whole Fantastic Four in this particular costume with the sort of like almost turquoise blue and the black boots. Although I'm not sure when this costume is from.
I looked at it and immediately was like, "This is so Fantastic Four for me in my head," and I think it's that Mark Waid era with
Okay.
Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo. I really do like this one, but as you can see, or you may have noticed, we've put her on different stands. I thought the hole in the foot, I don't know what that's called,
The peg hole.
the peg hole was gonna be the same. It is not.
Oh,
The peg hole does not work for every one of these figures, so they're actually on different stands as a result thereof, and I'm like, "That's kind of a weird choice," but I do wanna take a look at her. I like that cool, the fading into invisible effect on her
me
hands.
too. I think that's really cool. That's actually why I bought that figure. And, honestly, she was like loose out of package. She was pretty cheap on eBay. So it was like an easy purchase. And as a bonus, the seller that I actually bought this figure from sent me 3 Sue Storm figures. So he must have been getting out of collecting or done with the Fantastic Four or I don't know, what, but very generous kind of bonus there.
Yeah.
Um, with this Sue, I think her face is better, but still not perfect. Her bottom lip is like weirdly glossy while her top lip is not. I don't know. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, the face is quite a bit better from what the standard figure is. It's actually more proportioned to the body type, although she looks really young.
She does.
So it adds into that sort of why is her build so young? As a package, I think it works better than the way the head worked on this one. As the character of Sue, it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I would say too, like they gave her sort of like a strawberry blonde in this, as opposed to like more straight up blonde on that classic figure. And to me, I think of Sue as like a bright blonde, not this strawberry dirty blonde.
Yeah.
Which is a small nitpick.
Right.
Hey, we're nerds.
Yeah. Well, and I will say the same thing that I've said on most of these is the fact that they don't really have gloves or boots or belts. They just have paint.
Yeah.
And I am just, we're in a different era now. It's time. Things need a refresh,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Well, let's take a look at the more modern Sue. That was one of the bonuses in there. So she's got that black costume. I think we looked at Reed
Yep.
in his black costume. And like Reed, it looks like really the only things that they changed as far as the whole figure is the boots.
Yeah,
She's got some weird heel.
she does. She has like platforms. She reminds me of Zero Suit Samus
Oh,
from from Metroid, and
or
which is a cool comparison. So
Soulgum Crisis.
yeah, yes, the Bubblegum Crisis, the armors, I forgot what they're called, but yeah, they have heels on them. I don't normally like that, but for some reason it works for me with this particular design.
The height of those heels work for me.
Yeah.
I honestly hate when they make a female figure that is supposed to be like running around doing superhero stuff and she's got high heels or like, all the McFarlane females, like they always give them a
Yeah.
high heel, big like wedge sole. And it doesn't make sense for a
No.
superhero.
Catwoman in the Dark Knight trilogy is the only time the heel actually worked for me because they actually made it part of the story. So, but otherwise, no, I think it's ridiculous.
Plus it makes action figures hard to stand up.
Yeah. Although this one fit on the peg, no problem, where the other ones were problematic to do that.
I wonder if it's because she's probably the most modern of the Sues that we're looking at here.
Yeah.
She's fine. She's got that black costume. I'd say of the heads that we've looked at so far, hers is my favorite.
Could be aged up a bit again if it was a little bit more like maybe some more cheekbone or
Doesn't look
something.
like a teenager.
Yeah, there's just a little too much youngster in there.
I like what they did with her hair there, though. I feel like it got that vintage retro like vibe that I like to see in my Fantastic Four.
And it's got a lot of movement. It feels like the hair's kind of pushing back, which I feel like with the effect of doing the force fields really it works as to give motion to the figure. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they painted some extra stuff on her hands. Like if you remember the Reed that we looked at, he actually had new sculpts for his hands. It looks like they just slapped some extra paint, but it is a detail that sets her apart.
Yeah.
Let's get her down here and then take a look at Sue in her ultimate power form here. So this is the third Sue that was sent to me with that eBay offering, and this is Sue with her powers on full display. I think she looks really cool. Being transparent, I can forgive the sort of, she has the same derpy head of that classic Sue, but it's clear, so it doesn't bother me as much.
Right.
I think other than that, she's, pretty much just a clear mold of that classic Sue.
I really like this as an effect, and it is interesting that the head works so much better when it's not painted like this. I have my nitpicks, but again, I think the nitpicks are pretty similar to the entire line of figures. There's just that the posability is not great. The fact that I couldn't get her to stand up very well, and the overall build of the characters is strange.
Yeah, she's still got that same bad build.
Yeah.
I think she's pretty cool. Hard to go wrong with a translucent figure, honestly. They're always pretty cool.
It's it's a really cool effect to see her like that. I was actually surprised, and we're gonna take a look at the first steps figures or the pictures of them so far, and I was surprised that there's not a full invisible version yet, considering there's a Johnny that has the full flame on effect. So
I would imagine they'll do an invisible form. I mean, just because it's you're reusing the same molds, you're using a different plastic. It seems to me like it's a no-brainer. You gotta
Right.
gotta release an invisible woman. Yeah, well, let's actually talk about that figure a little bit. So Nat, have you had a chance to look at the new figure from Fantastic Four First Steps of Sue Storm?
I have. I've actually was pretty excited to take a look at this because the first thing that I thought of was Vanessa Kirby. And that is such a huge advantage over every one of these figures because, hey, that's a real human being that you has a normal figure and doesn't look like this. Yeah, I love 90s comics. Don't get me wrong. Proportions were not correct.
No, and these are very, yeah, these wafy proportions, like we talked about, just really don't, I don't think, serve the character
Well,
well.
it also helps that if you're basing it on Vanessa Kirby's face, you have a better face mold than any of these as well. Although I don't think they nailed the face from the pictures at least, but it's still better.
I'm not as familiar with the actress, I have to say. Like, what else has she been in?
I think she's in one of the Mission Impossible movies. I don't know how I know her. I think it's just like through osmosis of like film media that
Awesome.
so
I would say, I don't know the actress that well, so I can't really speak to the accuracy of the head sculpt. I will say, as Sue Storm, I love it. She looks like a grown woman. I think the details on the First Steps costume in her case work really well. I may not have liked them as much, especially on Thing and on Johnny, but I think for Sue and Reed, that, knit sweater, space suit kind of vibe, like, looks awesome. The retro futuristic.
yeah, it's a really interesting choice too that I love, and I had never thought about this for the characters. She has short boots.
I was just gonna say I didn't like the short.
Oh, really? Okay. I kind of dig the short boots. It's a little bit different, especially like the comparison of short boots, long glove.
Isn't that a Cake song?
So like,
I want a girl with some short boots and some long gloves.
there you go. No, I really I like all of the elements of this. And I think that's a really it looks like it's gonna be a good sort of classic Sue, ironically enough.
Yeah, I agree. I also really like her shoes and her boots, the way they actually did the soles. They have like a little heel, like a boot would actually have. They have some extra paint apps on there. Her paint actually looks really good. I've seen a few other YouTubers and Instagram people that have their hands on the actual physical Fantastic Four figures, and I'd say Sue, in my opinion, is the best looking of them.
Makes sense. They actually have a nice pose that they're doing where she's like focusing her power with her head, and it's just like, man, that's a really great shot. Like they really put this together nicely.
Whoever did the posing, like, for the commercial shots, like, did a great job too, because I really like the one where she's also, like, racing her arm,
Yeah.
while she holds up her force field. I think it, sells it really well.
What do you think about giving a prelim grade to that figure then, based on the photos?
I'm gonna give her a preliminary 8. I'm gonna give her a 9. I'm gonna give her a 9. She's looking really good to me. She may be the impetus I need to pick up the new Fantastic Four figures.
I would definitely like to take a look at that one for sure. I'm going the same way. I'm going with a 9. I think based on the photos, it's head and shoulders above what we have here on the table. No offense,
Yeah,
but
I totally agree. How would you rate, actually, let's go backwards through the rating. Let's start with Invisible Sue here. How would you rate this figure?
that's a tough one. I actually really like the effect. I think I'm gonna go with a 6 because of everything that's going on with it being the clear and the invisible suit. So yeah, 6.
I'm gonna give her an 8 because I think, it accomplishes the goal. The frame isn't quite right, but something about it being translucent kind of makes up for that, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give this one an 8. Let's move on to half Invisible Sue here, or, becoming invisible.
Yeah. I actually initially was thinking this was gonna be higher. I think I'm still gonna stick with a 6.
Okay.
I think it's the fact that she looks so young kind of pulls it back from being a better figure. Same frame, obviously. I do really love the effect, and I think the effect is carrying this figure a little bit further than it should. It's just the age. The head is better, but
It's still that wrong body.
still wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 7, basically for the same reasons. I think it would be a 6 if not for the actual effects of,
Yeah.
like, becoming invisible. Yeah, I'm gonna give her a 7. She was, essentially a gift. So, or, she came with some gifts, so it
Yeah.
was worth it for me. Let's take a look at more modern Sue. Maybe I'll go first this time.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm gonna give her a 6. We're going down in sort of, I don't know, quality of Sues, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the suit doesn't do a lot of the character justice. It's not an era of Fantastic Four that I know very well. Again, the young face, the hair is really great, but it makes her the overall package is a 5. Like, it's for me, it's this is not the best of the ones on the table by any stretch of the imagination, so
Finally, let's take a look at the classic Sue here, the retro card Sue. You want me to go?
yeah, you go first on this one as well.
I will give this one a 5 with the head that she actually was sold with because it's terrible. And it's a shame that they did Sue so dirty like that in her classic form.
Yeah.
I'd say with the Emma Frost head, I'll elevate her up to a 8 along with Clear Sue.
I kinda dislike that we are so sort of simpatico on this one. With the classic head that she came with, she's a 6, she's kind of on par with the other ones, the painting is not great on it. But yeah, I think the Emma head does a huge amount of work to make the character really look like Sue, she's an 8 in that at that point, so
I agree. Yeah, with the Emma head, she's closer to the Sue that I imagine in my head.
yeah, and we wanna hear from you. Which of the Sues on the table is your favorite?
Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a selection of Sue Storms from Hasbro Marvel Legends, including the new Sue from Fantastic Four First Steps.
And if you like toys and reviews like these, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.